The Eagles had their final top 30 meeting with the last top cornerback in the draft, and Howie Roseman's not shying away from expressing his love for a cornerback in round one, but all the Patrick Surtain to Philly trade lovers might not like what Adam Schefter said yesterday. Jalen Hurts and Dallas Goedert, they raved about their new teammate Saquon Barkley during his first week of OTAs, although when asked about new OC Kellen Moore, Jalen confirmed the offense, it's hard and very different. And Jason Kelce somehow lost his $40,000 Super Bowl ring. I'm Thomas Mott. This is the Thomas Mott Show. Now, Jason Kelce's not coming back, despite all of us begging him over the past couple of months to please run it back for one more year. But after the New Heights podcast star confirmed yesterday that he lost his Super Bowl ring in a blow-up tub of chili,
I legitimately lost my Super Bowl ring in this event. They could not find it.
Maybe he should just come back, win one more. That way he can get another 10-carat white gold ring adorned with 219 diamonds and 17 green sapphires from the Birds' 2017 Super Bowl win against the Patriots, valued at over $40,000. Now, that's wishful thinking, because that dream is for sure dead after it was reported yesterday that Jason and Travis are going to ink a brand new $100 million podcast deal for New Heights. So, hey, maybe he could just buy himself a brand new Super Bowl ring? Either way, Kelce lost the Super Bowl ring at a New Heights podcast live tape at the University of Cincinnati, so if you're lucky enough to find it, then turn it back in because it has Kelce's name on it. You can't just keep the darn thing. All rings aside, Philadelphia did complete their final top 30 visit with the last projected first-round cornerbacks in Alabama's Tyrion Arnold. Now, Arnold, as you probably know by now, he's a prototypical corner. He's 6 foot, great length, great size, great speed. He's extremely sticky when covering elite cornerbacks. He's fantastic in every single way, much like a lot of the other cornerbacks in this draft. And the Eagles have looked at a lot of cornerbacks in this draft, according to James Palmer, who confirmed yesterday that the Eagles have posted pretty much all of the top cornerbacks in this draft. They've really done their work on the position, and at 22 could be in a good spot to land one. The Eagles have not drafted a cornerback in the first round since Lito Shepard, 26th overall in 2002 from Florida. Now, like Arnold, another first-round corner who finally officially went to Philadelphia yesterday was Iowa's Cooper DeJean, which we've talked about a ton. Philadelphia loves the kid. They met with him multiple times, including at the NFL Combine, but now officially he got his turn at the NovaCare Complex, and apparently he impressed. Besides offensive tackle, the Birds have met with more cornerbacks than any other position group in this year's draft. It's very clear that at some point, whether it's round 1, 2, 3, 4, or later rounds, the Eagles are going to take a cornerback. The question really is it going to be round 1, or will they wait till the middle of the third round? Howie Roseman, though, was asked about it during his press conference yesterday and seemingly agreed with the big need at corner.
Obviously, corners are a huge part of playing defense in the National Football League right now. We always talk about affecting the passing game, and just like on offense, we talk about the offensive line and having skill guys. We talk about the defensive line and having guys who can cover on the outside, on the inside, and how much that helps you. Obviously, 2 years ago, I think we were number 2 in pass defense, and we had 2 guys who, one was a second team. We were number 1. Thank you, Ruben. We had Slay made the Pro Bowl, and James was a second team All Pro. And I think that that just goes to show, how important that is to playing good defense. So. Always, I felt that's a priority. Obviously, when you give those numbers, those are compelling. We found different ways, and really going back to me being here, and even as a personnel director, we have signed some Pro Bowl caliber corners or traded for Pro Bowl caliber corners. So we've kind of probably done it a different way, but. Yeah, you're right. Obviously, those numbers are what they are.
Now, fortunately, for those of you still hoping for a trade for Patrick Surtain from Denver, ESPN's Adam Schefter threw a ton, and I mean a ton of cold water on the potential during his weekly interview on The Fanatic yesterday.
About Patrick Surtain, do you believe he's on the table?
No.
Okay.
No. And by the way, when you ask me that name, look, there's always curveballs, and I guess we could hear next week that Denver's all of a sudden trading Patrick Surtain. Denver shut that down pretty quickly last year, and that is the first time I've heard his name this offseason. Now, that doesn't mean it won't be the last, and maybe his name does come up, but I have not heard that once.
Now, I've said all along, this should shock everybody. Like, multiple Denver reporters, including Benjamin Albright, have stated for months, really, that Surtain is not getting traded. But sure, maybe we could have an A.J. Brown level of surprise on night 1 of the NFL draft, but the odds still seemingly are not in favor of the Eagles landing Surtain. Now, yesterday, we had a lot more Eagles at the podium in the NovaCare Complex during their OTA training to go ahead and talk about a whole bunch of stuff going on. And there were so many Eagles talking about different things, we can't show you every single important clip that happened. But I can give you the spark notes on some of these guys. For instance, Cam Jurgens said he was given Jason Kelce's old locker room, said he learned a ton under Kelce the past 2 seasons and is very much ready to take over the center position. Speaking of lockers, Tyler Steen was giving a starting offensive line locker, which doesn't really mean anything, except for the fact that the Birds seemingly have big expectations for a big Tyler Steen in year 2. Likewise, linebacker Nakobe Dean was at the podium where he said he was close to being 100%. He thinks he's going to be ready to go for the start of the season. And when asked about the newly signed linebacker competing for his job, Devin White, he said, we're both dogs, we're both hungry, and I'm excited to work alongside him. And then there's Brandon Graham, who really, during his media session, basically just said he's pumped to be there and he's trying to enjoy every single minute of what officially is the last year that we're going to ever see Brandon Graham in a National Football League uniform. And honestly, I'm here for it, ready for his leadership, and excited to see what he can do this season. Personally, though, I love listening to Jalen Hurts talk about what he's seen so far in brand new all-world running back Saquon Barkley the week and a half they've been together.
Yeah, I think he's a hell of a player. He's on this side now, so that's cool. And, I think for him, even in the short time of us having OTAs, you hear about the type of person he is, the type of leader he is in a room, the energy he brings to a room, and that's something that you can appreciate, and that's something I appreciate already. Just us, competing in sprints, or competing on a squat rack or doing things like that where we're challenging one another. Those are the things that set the thermostat for what the team is supposed to follow, and everything we're talking about doing is just competing, and going through these moments together and experiencing these things together and really pushing one another. And so I think he's been great with that. I built a good relationship with him just in a short notice, and we'll continue to build on that.
Likewise, Dallas Goedert, he seemed very pumped about what he's seen so far from Saquon Barkley's leadership potential, his ability just lifting weights side by side in the training room, but also being able to create running lanes, being one of the main tight ends who does block for running backs in this Eagle new offense.
Being in the part of the blocking scheme and stuff like that, having a running back of Saquon's stature, style of running, his abilities is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to open things. It's going to make my job as a tight end a little bit easier, and hopefully it opens the field for everybody. A playmaker like that is going to draw attention, and I'm really excited to see what he does, and I already know he's going to add a lot to the team, being in the weight room with him, being on the field with him, doing stuff with him. He's a tremendous guy with great leadership ability, and he wants greatness. He wants to be the best, and I think he's going to help carry people to become better and better.
Now, Kellen Moore's name was naturally brought up a ton yesterday in all these different press conferences. I thought Jalen Hurts' answer, though, when asked about the Kellen Moore question, was very honest. Like, QB1 and the rest of the guys have a lot to learn in this brand new system. Yeah,
I'm excited to work with him. I know they have a history of doing really good things, and I've actually, Coach Nuss recruited me to Florida back then, and when I was coming out of high school, so I have a pre-existing relationship with him. We're just all excited. I know they're kind of finalizing some of the things and crossing their T's and dotting their I's in terms of what it's exactly going to be. But I'm just all ears. I'm a sponge, and I think there's some beauty in that. Yeah, there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn. And I'm excited for that.
It goes without stating, this, but we got to at least mention it a couple more times here. Moore's system is completely different. Like the motion, the route combinations, the play designs. It's also something the Eagles offense hasn't really seen under Jalen's tenure. Sure, Steichen was kind of close, but overall, this is a brand new offensive philosophy that comes with a massive learning curve, and I believe it's one of the main driving forces on why so many Eagles showed up for this first voluntary OTA period, because they got to figure it out sooner rather than later, that way they can master it by the start of the season. Now, maybe the strangest story from yesterday was ESPN's very long expose on the Bill Belichick saga, which highlighted how Patriots owner Robert Kraft, for instance, called the Falcons and basically told them not to hire Bill. But of course, us Eagle fans were more interested in really a single sentence deep down in the article that read, he is believed to be biding his time until next January for openings on teams he has told confidants he could be interested in coaching: the Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles, and New York Giants. Which sounds a lot like, oh wow, the Eagles could be waiting to go ahead and replace Nick Sirianni with Bill Belichick. Just wait until January. It's going to hover over the organization until you read a little further in the article. Like, sure, the article does state the Eagles did call and did have some interest in Bill Belichick, and there is obviously a connection between Jeffrey Lurie and Bill, but someone apparently told Jeffrey Lurie it wouldn't be worth the drama, and thankfully the Eagles owner listened, saying, quote, "You'll have to start over again," said a source with firsthand knowledge of the Eagles' thinking. Who would replace him? He doesn't have a good record of developing coaches. They were afraid that he'll have to change everything and every person, and then you'll be starting from scratch again. He didn't demand those changes, but they felt like if we hired him, we have to give everything to him and trust how he does it. And honestly, good riddance. I'm glad we did not go down the Bill Belichick train. I know there were a lot of people in Philadelphia that said, oh, you bring in the Super Bowl champion and he can kind of fix all the big issues inside Philadelphia. The main problem has always been, how long is he going to be here? The guy's very, very old. I mean, Nick Saban just retired, and seemingly all these other teams passed up on Bill Belichick because, one, his age, two, his drafting history, it's not been very good, and three, he does not develop future coaches. You can't just, hire Joe Judge or hire Josh McDaniels and just replace him once he's done coaching in Philadelphia for 2 seasons. And so I'm not very much in on Nick Sirianni. You guys know that. I thought he should have been fired at the end of this year, but keeping Nick Sirianni versus hiring Bill Belichick, to me, at least for now, was probably the right decision. We got plenty more stuff happening the next couple of days and weeks. We are exactly 1 week away from night 1 of the NFL draft. Thursday night next week, Josh and I are going to be live, the Philly Special Show and my show together, hosting the entire first round, breaking down every single pick. We have picks before basically everybody else, especially ESPN. Go ahead and subscribe and join us for that. I'm Thomas Mott. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.